I'll start. The total budget for fiscal year 14-15 is $32.4 billion. This is a 2.4% reduction, a 2.4% reduction from the revised fiscal year 13-14 budget of $33.2 billion. So we are 2.4% lower than what we were a year ago. This bill makes provisions to recognize the estimated revenue shortfall of $276 million in the current year. There are provisions to close out revenue gap for 13-14 using additional agency reversions and reserves. However, both years are affected by the revenue shortfall as the governor has made the necessary, painful reductions to his proposed budget to address the current and next year's shortfall. The decision made to eliminate state employees, teacher and higher education salary increases was difficult on all of us, but it's necessary to be responsible given our budgetary shortfalls. For budget year 14-15, for the first time in institutional memory, this does not include any additional legislative amendment. These are the amendments filed by individual members to fund various projects throughout the state. We've had none this year. Going through this, however, there are a lot of good things in this budget that have positive impacts on the state of Tennessee. I'm going to list some of them for everyone. Employees will not receive a pay raise, but at the same time, they will not experience an increase in their employees' insurance premium. This is one of the few times we've ever done this, knowing we could not give a pay raise. The governor and the body had decided not to increase their premium. Normally speaking, on increased premiums, it runs $20 or $30 a month, so that's $240, $360. In past years, when we gave no increase in 08, 09, 010, we still increased their premiums. This year, the governor has decided not to, and we are going to fully fund the premium for our employees, our educators, our higher ed. Employees who participate in the 401 program will continue to receive a $50 match. They will receive the $50 match on their 401k. The Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System is accurately funded with an additional $6 million. DIGS has over 7,000 Tennesseans waiting on the waiting list. They have been given additional funds to reduce this waiting list. TennCare will receive an additional funding of $77 million to handle the increase in the eligible but not yet enrolled in TennCare. TennCare will also receive an additional $63 million for a 3.2 medical inflation utilization for a managed care organization for their expenses. Property tax relief for the elderly and the veterans is funded at $34 million in 15. This year it was at $31 million. This is based on the best estimates from the comptroller. So we are funding our elderly and our veterans and low-income property tax relief plan. Agriculture. We'll continue to receive funding for the Agriculture and Enhancement Program that benefits many of our rural communities. To help with our aging veterans population, the budget includes funds to help with pre-planning of a West Tennessee Veterans Nursing Home. This is a pre-planning for and we all know our veterans are increasing. In corrections, there is $198 million to fund the account which pays for local jails that our state prisons are in the local jails. This is $198 million to go to our localities. We are expanding the Attorney Center, the complex, by 200 beds that will help the overcrowding in our local jails. We continue to invest in jobs by providing over $56 million to the Economic and Community Development Fund for Jobs for Tennessee program. There is a separate bill, a bonding bill authorizing the infrastructure improvements for Canuck Tire Company in Montgomery County and Beretta in Sumner County, and that is a separate bill which I'll get into. Children's Services have made positive improvements over the past 2 years. Even though there is a small reduction in the department's budget, the department believes that these reductions will help them to improve their efficiency and their effectiveness. This budget proposal proposes $313 million in state dollars that will help put the department in a better position to satisfy the requirement of the Brian A. lawsuit, which will get us closer to exiting that lawsuit. In education, the BEP is funded with an additional $47 million to adjust our growth. Tennessee state funding for the BEP, state funding for our BEP will be $4.2 million in fiscal year 15. We are also providing $8.5 million to address the salary equity adjustments for teachers. This will affect, and I think a lot of people, most people have the list, this will affect 83 of 136 counties on the BEP funding. These are some of your rural, less affluent counties. They are getting this money, and I know at Clay County they get 3%, and I'll use Williamson and Franklin Special School District gets 0. But this is very important for our small rural counties out there, and the list is out there, and I just want everyone to know that there are, in these counties, there will be adjustments made to those teachers that their salaries are lower. And we're trying to bring this up to state minimum average. So some counties, and I named one, will have a good 3% adjustment on that. We are continuing to fund the Family Resource Centers, which is very important, at $3 million to continue their regional service to family and students. The budget includes $1.6 billion for a higher education system. There are provisions to fund the Tennessee Promise. If the bill passes legislation, lottery reserve, and future proceeds to provide scholarships for graduating high school students to attend community college and colleges of applied technology. There is a $10 million for competitive grants to align our local equipment needs for our workforce needs in community colleges and tech centers. The statutory commitment to grow the rainy day fund by the required 5% in year 15 is kept. $35.5 million will go into the rainy day fund, and this is what is required. This will bring our rainy day fund up to $491 million. 10-care reserve balance will stay at the same level as they were last year at $281,877,000. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes, but I want you all to know that this budget has been a tough year. Being in the hole, $276 million. But with this budget, we are making the financial commitments showing that we want to move forward. The reserve accounts, we can take and raid the reserve accounts anytime, or a rainy day fund. But some of us heard from the comptroller and the treasurer that when we go to bonding council in New York, when they go up once a year, they look at these reserves. They look at how we balance our budget with reoccurring revenues and reoccurring expenses. There's a number of things they look at. Our reserve accounts, or our rainy day fund, is a major, major thing. We are fortunate in Tennessee that we are a AAA bond-rated state. There's not that many out there. We are one of the ones, and we need to preserve that. Losing that, anytime we write a bond, our interest rates would be higher. That is so important, because if we're issuing bonds, either for higher ed or for the state, they're two different accounts, that these are very important issues. I think we've come up with a very good, conservative budget working within our means. We're not going to be like other places on the East Coast, of course, Washington, D.C. It's easy to stand here and spend all the money we want, and then someone's going to have to pay for it. We, as the state of Tennessee, don't feel that's the proper way of going. This is a very well-worked budget, and I want to thank the people on the Finance Committee that listened to 60, 70, 80 hours of budget hearings, and we watched what reserve accounts were going to be taken. With that, Madam Speaker, we can continue on with the amendments.